Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. We have Mher Vartanian on the line, and he is Vice President of Investments over at Marcus and Millichap. And also, I'm proud to announce Mher is an upcoming author in our next Mission Matters book release. Mher, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. Great to be here.
All right, so I've been following you for a long time on Twitter now, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And I've also been following the work that you've been doing over at Marcus and Millichap. So we'll get into that and really how you and your team have managed to become market makers and really distinguish yourself in your local and regional markets. But before we get into that, we will start this episode the way that we start them all with our Mission Matters Minute. So, Mher, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Mher, what mission matters to you?
What mission matters to me? It's constantly adding value. That's how we make a name for ourselves. That's how we get ourselves involved in the conversation. What can we do to add value to any different situation when it comes to the real estate investments world? And it's by either leveraging us, our team, our network. We provide it to our clients. We create relationships for life with that. We become part of them, their family, part of their investment advisors, and it's great.
Yeah, it's great, and I see how much heart you put into your work, and I'm glad and happy to present that to our audience. And I guess maybe just to get us kicked off here, let's go a little bit further into really your background and how you got started. Like how'd you get started in real estate?
Yeah, kind of by accident. After we had a small stint at Goldman Sachs in San Francisco, my dream job coming out of college wasn't. After a little bit of that, I realized it wasn't what I wanted to do. Came back to Philadelphia, started applying for different jobs. Applied at Marcus and got an interview, not really understanding what I was getting myself into. They told me it was commissions only. I figured, you know what? Let me take a shot at this. At least if I don't stick with it, I'll learn something about real estate. At that point, I just, I knew a couple of things my dad taught me growing up, and as soon as I started, I didn't miss a beat. I mean, it's something clicked with me. It caught on. My favorite part was just talking to people all day. I thought cold calling was kind of, corny, ridiculous at first, old school.
Yeah.
But then you find yourself talking to, some of the best investors, multimillionaire business owners across the Northeast, and you're just listening to their story all day. These guys are giving you the time. They realize you're young, you're new, and it's like getting an MBA every day, learning from the guys who've actually done it. And when you get to that realization, it's like you can't stop. Every day you're in the thick of it, and with some of the best business leaders in the country. And why would you stop doing that?
Oh, it's great. It's a great perspective, and it is a great attitude towards the market and otherwise, and really adding value. And it just speaks to your mission and what you said about adding value to others. What kind of advice would you give? So to maybe the next group of individuals that are thinking about or considering entering the world of real estate, what kind of advice would you tell them?
I tell my junior brokers all the time, you have to have an open mind for this. There's no textbook for this. Every building's different. Every town, city, municipality is different. You have to be able to pivot, and you have to think on your toes. You have to be creative. You have to be scrappy, because this isn't like a stock where you can just look at a balance sheet and figure out the price. These assets are cash flowing, but at the end of the day, they have roofs, they have mechanicals, they have, the owners, they have personalities. You have to manage different types of personalities. Not every situation is the same. And that's what's fun about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every puzzle is different. Every problem has different ways of solving it. We've done hundreds of transactions over the last couple of years, but the next 100 transactions are going to be completely different from the last 100.
Yeah, and what's always interesting to me in real estate, and I argue, unlike stocks, is that it can be there can be some really inefficient situations that allow for good return for investors, and there's just a lot of different scenarios versus maybe if you're looking at that screen, right? And there's other market forces and things that are kind of taking over, right, over and above, let's just say, the balance sheet of the company, right? With real estate, like sometimes that can really be in the sellers or the buyer's advantage. And I understand that you represent both sides. Am I off on that?
Yeah, no, we represent both sides most of the time.
Let's talk a little bit more about your niche, really, and what you're doing. So maybe tell us a little bit more about your team over at Marcus and Millichap.
Yeah. My partner and I, we run the largest team at Marcus Millichap out of the Philadelphia office. We have about 8 junior brokers under us and 3 full-time staff members, as well as us, the team leads, Dunkel Vartanian group. And a lot of what we do when we're selling these property, especially when we first started, we weren't selling the Class A,
Yeah.
like skyline property. We're selling, some of the more unsavory assets,
Mm.
the assets that you really had to wrap your head around. And you have to build a narrative around that. You have to figure out the business plan. You have to figure out how someone's going to be able to buy the property, make money in the property, and then sell the property when it's time. And it's developing a business plan with the potential investors, and these are some of the ways we add value, going in and sometimes teaching the investor buyers what they can do differently to operate the property to increase value within,
Mhm.
teaching the sellers what they have to do to get ready for a sale. If they want to sell today, they have to line some stuff up to get ready, so they don't get crushed during the due diligence process with retrades or anything. So we have to defend both sides. And at the end of the day, a seller has to leave some meat on the bones for the property, so
Mhm.
so someone else can get some future value out of it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we pair up all of our buyers with the right, lenders,
Mhm.
inspectors, title companies, attorneys, whatever we need to do to make sure the transaction moves slowly. Because at the end of the day, anyone can put out a for sale sign. We don't put
Mhm.
out any for sale signs. That's not our job. Our job is to manage a process at the end of the day, make sure the disposition or acquisition gets to the finish line, because these are 90-day timelines. Anything and everything will happen, and
Yeah.
our job is to make sure everything stays on course throughout the process, and that's why we get hired. That's our
Mhm.
role in the process.
Yeah. And just speaking to, again, some of the individuals that are maybe just getting started in real estate or considering it, residential versus commercial real estate, like your views on maybe going either route as a career path.
Uh, you have active listening, open listening.
Mhm.
In any conversation with your client, you should be speaking 20% of the time and they should be speaking 80% of the time.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you exactly what you need to know. What they Whether they know it or not, they're going to tell you. And just
Mm.
hanging back and listening is
Mm.
sometimes that's what they want. They just want someone to listen to what they're thinking, and you just going to be and just absorb it and ask as many open-ended questions as you can, because that's at the end of the day, no one's looking. No, you don't have to have all the answers.
Yeah.
You don't have to have all the answers. Then you can table stuff. You have to be patient with it, because this is a process. Like I said, 60 to 90 days. That's our timeline in the commercial world. I know residential is sooner, but not everything has to be taken care of that then and there. Get your realign yourself, get your put everything you need to get together, and then
Yeah.
go back out and ask your questions and answer the questions they had for you.
Mhm.
No need to rush.
Now I know you're a pretty humble guy, but I do got to ask you this. Like how do you think that you and your team have managed to really become market makers in your area, in your niche, and in your region? And maybe for those that are unfamiliar with that term, also just talk a little bit about what that term means. So being a market maker.
Being a market maker is defining the market, defining the price per square foot, defining the price per unit. We're proud to be able to say we've made our market in central Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania, and the Philadelphia suburbs. And the way we do that is because we understand how to operate real estate, and that's the thing. We're not only are we investors ourselves, we know how to drive the narrative. We know what people are looking for at the end of the day, and not your neighbor's not going to be the one that's going to pay the highest price for your asset. It's most likely going to be an outsider, but someone who's used to, but that outsider who's probably used to paying $200 a square foot, and then they see your property listed at 120. In their eyes, that's already value. But then bringing someone in from across state lines or from the other side of the country and kind of getting them comfortable with that new local market, that's a lot of hand holding on our end. They are coming with different perceived value. Their perception on everything's different. Outsider looking in, it's always looks in with clear glasses. We're strong believers in that, and that's how we drive value. That's how we make the market, by getting them into the fold, getting them connected in with our network of third parties, getting them comfortable, and then we've done that time and time again, and we've been very successful in doing that.
What is your approach, or how do you go about, whether it's mentally your mindset and kind of going to the table and it's time to start negotiating and talking about the actual, nuts and bolts and terms for the deal? Like, how do you mentally go into that negotiation?
Again, before you can get into the thick of the negotiation, it's all the prep work in the front end, and that's where the active listening comes back. You're going to know what is important to them, what life changes are occurring, why someone is looking to sell and why someone is looking to buy. Understanding, and the buyer and the seller have to come in some terms. It's not always price, right? There's timelines associated with it. There's after the sale, what can occur. There's different things that make people make decisions, right? And it's all the active listening on the front end, knowing what the top three for each side is going to be, and coming and basically eliminating trimming the fat of the conversation and writing it down and deep into it. That's the most important part.
You're dropping jewels today, Mher. Going for the top three of each party and making sure that you're satisfying those and trimming the fat, really just getting right to the point. Man, you got a masterclass going on today, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
So let's just say, you're getting further along in the deal, and invariably, like, we don't have to pick on one particular reason, but invariably, like, deals fall through, and before you get to that finish line, like you said, anything and everything can happen. Like, how do you keep yourself and maybe your team mentally focused and prepared for those inevitable twists and turns that are going to come up when it comes to closing a deal?
It's not easy. That part's probably never going to get easy. But versus from when we started till now, our perception on these things have changed, right? I always tell junior brokers, never count your fee. It's not a closing until a day after closing, and always have as many balls in the air as possible. Your goal, that one deal isn't the deal that's going to make you rich and retire, right? It's never that case. We're here to run a business, and that's what separates good brokers from mediocre brokers, is seeing your brokerage business, seeing you as a business is the most important thing. And what do businesses do? They're constantly turning inventory. Your goal is to be constantly turning inventory, having multiple deals under contract, multiple listings at a time, multiple closings in a month. That's how you can count on, if one falls out, you're still fine. And when it falls out, understanding why it fell out. Is it something that you can save, or are you the problem, or is the deal the problem? We're getting better at this, right? We're still learning every day. We're getting to a point where if deals are dying, it's because the deal is no good. There's things there's outside factors that you can't control. And a lot of what we do is controlling the controllable. We can't control interest rates from going up, but we have to do things to mitigate the damage as much as we can on both ends. And that's staying on top of lenders or third parties. Sometimes there's just environmental issues. We don't know. You can't know that. You can't know what happened 50 years ago. I mean, you can't beat yourself up about that. So, and doing this, you're going to get thick skin. You're going to get very thick skin doing this. And again, you have to think of the longevity of your business. In 5 years from now, how is everything going to look? You always put things back into perspective, and you got to keep looking forward.
Talk to me a little bit more about team building and how you manage to attract, key players and retain top talent in your field. Because as you said, you started, yourself, and now you have a large team working with you and for you. Talk to me more about how you built that team.
Yeah, slowly. We grew slowly. We didn't want to grow fast. We didn't want to grow ahead of ourselves. We knew when it made sense to bring on another junior. We knew when it made sense to hire another full-time staff member based off the bandwidth that we can take. And as we were getting bigger and our juniors were producing, affording more staff made sense. But also, just because a junior wants your mentorship, you have to make them earn that, right? And it might sound weird. They're 1099 employees. You're not paying them, but they have to earn your time. And when you're an entrepreneur, all you have is time. It's your most precious resource, and you can either spend time with a new kid that wants to learn, or spend more time generating business. So and managing that time. I don't want to say put these new guys through a test, but we need to make sure they really want it, and they're going to put as much into the business as we're putting in. They need to give it their all. We call the herd. We have to sometimes. And the cream always rises to the crop, and we're at a nice spot right now where all of our junior agents are producing. Our staff is busier than we've ever been in this market, and it's because we set up everything on the front end and we built out slowly, and we're in a good spot right now.
Oh man, that's great. It's a great success story, great entrepreneur story. And I love the fact that you said that you didn't necessarily rush the process, because I feel like there's so many out there. And I don't mean just in real estate. I mean entrepreneurs in general that have that burden on them, or sometimes that unrealistic expectation that they're just going to have to, year one, knock it out of the park, and they have to build everything. And then overnight, like, to me, we often hear these stories and these headlines, but a lot of times they take that at face value, and they don't think about that, the overnight success that took 10, 20, 30 years, or however long it took. We just see the headline and we're impressed, but it takes time to build a solid business, right?
It takes time and patience and and resilience. You have to believe in yourself, and if you don't see your future, what your business is going to look like in 2, 3, 5 years down the line, you're not going to have the vision to build out what you need today. And it's one step at a time. And I've seen people fail from not following that, but I think patience is key, especially in real estate. This is all it's all small successes to get to the big goal. That's what it is. It's delayed gratification, and in real estate more than anything.
Yeah. Well, Mher, I want to talk about the book briefly today, and just for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll be bringing Mher on for a second interview. Consider it part 2 of a 2-part series, and there we'll do a deep dive into the book. At that point, it will already be live in print, and we'll be holding up copies in that interview. But for today, just a little bit of a teaser, and note this is still in editing, so some of the content can change and will change, always does. That's publishing. But keeping it high level, Mher, what are some of the things that you hope to present in the upcoming book?
In the upcoming book, a few of the main points we hit on is team building, communication within the team, small organizations, pros and cons of small organizations, and on the entrepreneurial side, the delayed gratification, and how the small things we do today, you're not necessarily going to see results, but it's when you do see results, every entrepreneur knows that first sale they get, that first step towards growing the business, it's the most rewarding thing, and there's a different kind of euphoria there. Entrepreneurs, we're different animals, Adam. You understand that more than anyone. Different things make us tick, and I think it always comes down to delayed gratification. We just like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to cut you off there and say that that's all you're getting, everybody that's watching, for this one, because we do sell books, and I'm not going to have Mher give all the secrets away, because I want you to pick up a copy of that book once it's live, and we bring, of course, Mher back on the show. But that being said, I mean, Mary, you got, as you just mentioned, your career is rocking and rolling over there. I mean, they got a lot going on. You're busier than you ever have been in this market. We're recording this February 2023, so it can be a tricky market as well. I just have to ask, what's next? I mean, what's next for you? What's next for your business?
What's next for us? We're, our goals are always increasing. We definitely want to close out more this year than we did last year, and we understand the economic environment coming in. Personally, we're, expanding our personal portfolios, have a few development projects we're undergoing. And then other than that, my wife and I are looking to start a family in the next 1 or 2 years. So we have a lot moving. It's not going to be easy these next couple of years, but that's why we're here.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congrats on that. And not, anything worth achieving, some people say never easy. And I don't know, that's been my case, but I feel like what you've described to me is a recipe for success. I'm excited to watch your team continue to grow, your family grow, and also just to be have you be part of the Mission Matters community, because that's what we are here. So that being said, if somebody's listening to this or watching this and they want to connect and follow up and follow your content or contact you about real estate, about opportunities, how do they get in touch?
I'm very easy to get a hold of. My cell phone number and email address is basically everywhere. Follow me on Twitter. I reach out to a lot of people. Reach out to me on Twitter. Just DM me, and schedule a time to call and talk. I love speaking about real estate. I can do it all day. I do it all day for my job. So it's easy. Just reach out. My email address and phone number probably will be provided.
Awesome. And so your Twitter is, I think it's at The Real Mher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, at The Real Mher.
Yep, that's The Real Mher. Yeah, and I follow Mher, so I highly recommend it. I'm just telling you, like he's providing insight into his deals and the deal flow, what's going on. I mean, I'm thoroughly entertained. I think everybody else will be as well. So definitely go follow that. So at The Real Mher. That being said, to our audience and listeners, if this is your first time with Mission Matters or listening to a Mission Matters episode, we're all about bringing on business owners, entrepreneurs, executives, and experts and having them share their mission, the reason behind their mission, really what gets them motivated and fired up to go out into the marketplace and make a difference and to add value. If that's the type of content that sounds interesting or fun or exciting to you, I encourage you and welcome you. Hit that subscribe button, because we have many more mission-based individuals coming up on the line, and we don't want you to miss a thing. And Mher, I really thank you again for coming on the show and making time for us over at Mission Matters. And I can't wait till the next time we get to work with each other. Thanks again.
Thanks, Adam.